Hi, what am I doing here today? It's nice to be on your show.
Hi there, you guys. Hopefully you saw the first video. If not, I'll link it right here. Today we're going to do a second video, a part 2 to the recovery. It is 7 months later and it has been a roller coaster of a time.
Yes, it has.
This is my best friend, Christopher.
I'm here today to share my experience with you in this wonderful journey that was the scoliosis surgery. So yes, we'll start at the beginning. So let's go back in time to a couple of days before the surgery.
I had the COVID test and then I was quarantined for 4 to 7 days. And so basically the whole quarantine time, I just pretended that nothing was happening. And
yeah, that was your coping mechanism.
Yep.
Your coping skill was just to deny this whole thing was even happening.
Yep, once I accepted that it was happening, kind of, I just
packed it away and shut it away behind the door and just ignored it.
Yep.
Just
even up until like I was at the hospital, I was just at 6 a.m. I was there and I was hanging out with the anesthesiologist and the nurses and team, and I
that's
was
when
just like,
things really started to get real for you, right?
yeah, I mean, yes and no, because I kind of just was like, oh, hi there, we're just all hanging out, we're just having fun, we're just chilling. I have some needles in my arm, we're just chilling. And I basically just kind of acted like nothing was happening, and then I was gonna take a nap.
Yeah, and then wake up and everything's gonna be over and fine. Moving
And
on.
I would do the recovery just like all my other surgery recoveries.
Sure. And
So-
part of the reason why I'm here is because for, I would say, what, 50-60% of this whole 7-month recovery time, your memory of this is very, very vague and foggy because of
The pain.
the pain, but then the severe and the magnitude and the multitude of pain medications that you are under
Yep.
for this. So, you know, I'm going to be sharing more of that gaps in the memory loss, right? So the that's kind of where things went foggy for you then.
What was it like for you being at the hospital with someone that you care for doing this thing?
Well, and you know, and it's interesting because I think both of us independently took that same approach. I also just sort of went into denial. You know, when you said I'm having this surgery, I was like,
Ignorance
okay, fine.
is bliss.
Right, ignorance is bliss. Fine, that's gonna happen, but that's gonna happen
Make it till you make it.
in a few weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And probably about that same point in time when I got to see you right before you went in, when the final dose of, you know, medications, and they were saying, okay, you know, she's going in. I think that's when for me, I had that inescapable blast of reality in my face that, oh, this is happening. You're going in for a major surgery. You know, that was there for a minute, and then I quickly shut the door on that, you know, and just went into my peaceful place too. It was waiting, and I mean, it was very nerve-wracking because your surgery was, what, 10 hours long?
10 long hours.
And later in that day, there was saying you're going to be coming out or you're going to out soon, and then so I, you know, went back to the hospital and waited and waited and waited. And there was a bit of a glitch there because of...
Oh yeah, well I am a small person, and so they had to, because of my weight, they had to treat me as if I was a child, care-wise. So I had to get 5 hours of IV antibiotics afterwards because they were like so afraid of infections and other risks, I guess, that I don't even remember. And so yeah, so I was 10 hours of surgery and then 5 hours of IV medication.
That was a long day.
And antibiotics.
Yeah, because of COVID, they'd really restricted visiting. And
yeah, and so he had to leave at like 8 p.m. or something.
yeah, it was like 8 or 9, and so you weren't back in your room yet. So, you know, I'm grateful that a nurse came and grabbed me to sort of bend the rules a little bit to bring me down to this, you know, inner sanctum of the hospital where she was waiting so that I could see her afterwards. With the patient, she just got released. She's doing great. There she is. And their stuff. You want to say hello to your fans? Oh, he's a trooper.
So much pain.
Yeah.
I've had so much pain medicine. I got Dilaudid. I got, that one's my favorite.
Yeah.
I got Toradol, which was another one of my favorites. So they were listening to me.
Good. No, this is a fucking awesome place.
They're so nice here.
This place fucking rocks. Yeah. I brought you some chocolate.
Can you hand me that water? I'm allowed to have water.
I mean, you had planned to document a lot of this in the hospital, right?
Yeah, that was the issue. I had such high hopes artistically and vlogging wise, and I was gonna vlog everything and be this scoliosis or surgery recovery vlogger. Yeah, no.
No, that went all out the window.
Yeah, no. The amount of pain that I was in was absolutely debilitating to the point for like a long time I couldn't do anything.
Literally every ounce of being and time and energy was devoted to scoliosis recovery.
Yep.
There was no room for anything else. Every little nanosecond of the day was about caretaking for the recovery.
So he was there with me from 8 to 9, like every day.
Every single day.
Mm-hmm. That was the max he could be there.
Yep. Hanging out for moral support, and then also to just really,
be the advocate.
Yeah, to be the advocate, because she was so out of it and in so much pain, and being that translator, between knowing her so well and knowing what her needs are, and then also navigating the care that was being given. That hospital stay was very interesting because it was the day-to-day, and you were just debilitated, and I was just basically by your side, just being there as you slept, and then you kind of come out of it when they would come to give you your medicines and talk for a minute, and then you'd be out again. So it was just a lot of waiting around and just being there and being there for you. But so that is point A.
Have an advocate.
Have an advocate. Have somebody that loves you unconditionally, that can devote most of their time, if not all of their time. Other thing too is to look into wherever you are if there's a PCA program, which basically is if I understand this correctly, your health insurance will subsidize or pay you a family member or a friend to take care of your person, because she needed around-the-clock care.
Yeah, I needed someone to help me to the bathroom, to wipe for me, to...
It took a level of friendship to a whole other level.
Have your drink, to feed me. Oh, I was basically a newborn baby.
Get somebody that loves you unconditionally, that can be there, committed, that you trust, to advocate for you in the hospital, to just make sure everything's checked off and happening for you, who can speak for you, because you won't be able to.
They'll tell you 2 to 5 days, but everyone's different. And I had some complications with mine because my pain was not improving after a couple of days, or it was improving on one side and not on the other side. And so I had to get extra x-rays, a CAT scan done, and get sent for a second surgery on the 4th day, which was so fun. Because the screws, once they settle, they can't predict exactly where they're gonna settle, so my screws ended up settling on some nerves, and so that's why I had to get 4 screws taken out. So basically my recovery started, my hospital days started all over again.
Yeah, that was basically a redo. It was those previous days,
they basically didn't even count.
So recovery begins now.
Yeah.
After the second surgery.
So then I was in the hospital after the second surgery. I started getting slightly better, but my pain just was sky high. Nothing was working. I was on so many drugs. I was so sick in the hospital and throwing up from my drugs because just too much for my body. I couldn't eat. I was just really sick, but it was really the pain. And they say that they'd like you to get to a certain pain level but before you get out of the hospital. But because I started with a really high pain level before I went into surgery, my pain level was basically exponentially even higher
Right.
after surgery. And so I did not go out with I left the hospital with way too high of pain, but whatever, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was there for 10 days.
Mhm.
And I was getting all of the OT and the PT, the occupational therapy and
Yeah.
physical therapy, and I just couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't sit in the chair, I couldn't walk around, I couldn't, everything just hurt so bad. And I was always in pain. So basically the entire hospital stay, I was just sleeping and
being in pain.
being in pain.
Yeah.
That's all I could do.
Yeah, and it was very much a double-edged sword because they all said that, well, you have to move around because that will help the pain. But if you move around, that causes pain. So
Yeah,
it was
so-
this vicious cycle just going around and around and knowing that. And you tried, you made your little bit of improvements.
I guess for the car ride home, I would say bring a lot of pillows. Sit on a lot of pillows if you can. Like prop pillows behind your back.
Do not use a compact car.
Don't use a small car. Have as much space as you can. But don't get in a car that you have to obviously step into, because that's really hard too.
Because you will not be able to
And
bend.
have someone basically hold you like this the entire time of the car ride, because that's what we had to do for
Yeah.
at least a couple months.
Yes.
And it'll be painful, but it'll
No.
it'll not be forever.
Okay. And there's Batman. Batman, why did you do that?